It's one of the hardest things a young guy can experience. You meet a girl. She's funny. She's beautiful. Every time she walks into the room, your attention automatically shifts toward her. You finally work up the courage to talk to her. She smiles. She laughs at one of your jokes. For a moment, you start thinking, maybe she likes me too. So you try harder. You reply to her messages as quickly as possible. You start checking your phone every few minutes. You cancel plans with your friends because she suddenly wants to talk. You do everything you think a good guy is supposed to do. But then, something changes. Her replies become shorter. She starts taking longer to answer. The conversations don't feel the same anymore. Eventually, she leaves you on red. Or worse, she starts dating someone else. Now you're sitting alone wondering, what happened? Was I not attractive enough? Did I say something wrong? Why does this keep happening to me? Most guys answer those questions in the worst possible way. They blame women. They blame social media. They blame their height, their face, their money. Or they convince themselves that girls only want bad boys. It's an easy explanation, but easy explanations aren't always true. The reality is much more uncomfortable. Sometimes, without even realizing it, you're sending signals that make attraction almost impossible to grow. Not because you're a bad person, not because you're ugly, but because your behavior communicates something you never intended. Today we're going to talk about some of the biggest mistakes young men make when they like a girl. Mistakes that often push someone away instead of bringing them closer. And by the end of this video, you might realize that the biggest change isn't learning how to make someone like you. It's learning how to stop making the same mistakes over and over again. Let's start with the first one, because it's probably the mistake almost every guy has made at least once, including me. Mistake number 1. You make her the center of your world too soon. Here's something that almost every young guy gets wrong. The moment he starts liking a girl, his entire life begins revolving around her. Maybe you've done this before. Your phone lights up with her name, and suddenly nothing else matters. You're playing football with your friends. You stop. You're studying for tomorrow's exam. You stop. You're halfway through dinner with your family. You check your phone under the table because maybe, just maybe, she replied. At first, none of this feels like a problem. You tell yourself, I'm just showing her I care. From her perspective, she isn't seeing someone who's confident. She's seeing someone who's slowly putting his own life on hold for a person he barely knows. Imagine this. You're walking through a shopping mall when a brand new clothing store opens. The employee standing outside smiles and invites you in. That's completely normal. But then imagine that same employee starts following you through the entire mall. Every shop you enter, they're right behind you. Every time you stop walking, they're standing beside you asking, do you want to come back to my store now? Eventually, it doesn't matter how good the clothes are. You don't feel excited anymore. You feel pressured. Most people naturally pull away when they feel pressured. Dating works in a surprisingly similar way. When a girl notices that every hour of your day depends on whether she replies, it creates pressure. Not because she dislikes you, but because she feels responsible for your happiness. And that's a responsibility nobody wants after only knowing someone for a short time. One of the biggest misunderstandings about attraction is believing that effort alone creates feelings. It doesn't. Imagine planting a flower. Would watering it 10 times a day make it grow faster? Of course not. In fact, too much water kills it. Relationships are similar. Attention is important. But too much attention too early can become overwhelming. That's why some guys get confused. They think, I gave her everything. I was always there. I answered every message instantly. Exactly, you gave everything. Before there was actually a relationship, healthy attraction grows over time. It's built through shared experiences, trust, laughter, and getting to know each other. It isn't built by sacrificing your own routine. Think about the people you admire. Maybe it's an athlete, a musician, a successful entrepreneur, or even someone in your own school. What's one thing they all have in common? They have a life. They're busy building something. They have goals that exist whether someone likes them or not. That's attractive. Not because being busy is magical, but because it shows you have an identity outside of chasing someone else's approval. And here's the truth that took many men years to understand. A girl should become part of your life. She should never become your entire life. If your happiness depends completely on one person's attention, you're giving away something incredibly valuable, your peace of mind. The healthiest relationships happen when two people with full lives choose to spend time together. Not when one person abandons everything hoping the other person will finally notice them. So the next time you catch yourself checking your phone every 2 minutes, ask yourself one simple question. If she didn't text me today, would I still have a good day? If the answer is no, the problem probably isn't your dating life. It's that you've forgotten to keep building your own. And that leads us to the second mistake. A mistake that looks like kindness on the surface, but often creates the exact opposite effect of what most guys are hoping for. Mistake 2. You confuse being agreeable with being attractive. One of the biggest lies young guys believe is that if they agree with everything a girl says, she'll eventually start liking them. So they avoid disagreeing. They laugh at jokes they don't even find funny. They pretend to enjoy things they actually don't like. They change their opinions just to avoid conflict. At first, it feels like the smart thing to do. After all, who wants to argue with someone they like? But here's what most guys don't realize. There's a huge difference between being respectful and having no personality. Imagine you're shopping for a new phone. The salesperson walks over and says, "This is the best phone in the store." A few minutes later, another customer walks in and says they prefer a different brand. Immediately, the salesperson changes their mind. "Actually, you're right, that one's better." Then a third customer walks in. They recommend another phone. Once again, the salesperson completely changes their opinion. After watching this happen a few times, would you trust anything they say? Probably not. Not because they're rude, because they don't seem genuine. The same thing happens in dating. If a girl notices that you agree with every opinion she has, never challenge her ideas, never express your own thoughts. She doesn't see confidence. She sees someone who's afraid of being disliked. And that's an exhausting position to be in. Healthy attraction isn't built on pretending to be identical. It's built on mutual respect. Think about your closest friends. Do you agree on absolutely everything? Of course not. Sometimes you argue over football teams. Sometimes you have different opinions about movies. Sometimes you completely disagree on important topics. But those disagreements don't destroy the friendship. In many cases, they make conversations more interesting. Dating is no different. Having your own opinions doesn't make you difficult. It makes you real. Now, that doesn't mean becoming argumentative. Some guys hear advice like this and think they should start disagreeing with everything just to seem confident. That's not confidence. That's insecurity wearing a different outfit. Real confidence is simple. You're comfortable saying, "I actually see it differently," without feeling the need to prove anyone wrong. You're comfortable admitting, "I don't know." Instead of pretending to know everything, you're comfortable respecting someone else's opinion without abandoning your own. One of the easiest ways to lose yourself is constantly asking, "What does she want me to be?" Instead, ask yourself, "Who am I when nobody is watching?" Because that's the version of you that's actually worth getting to know. The right person won't be interested in a copy of themselves. They'll be interested in someone authentic, someone who can make them laugh, challenge them, teach them something new, and learn from them in return. Attraction isn't about becoming whoever you think she wants. It's about becoming more comfortable being yourself. Ironically, the less energy you spend trying to impress everyone, the more genuine connections you begin to build. And that brings us to another mistake that quietly ruins more opportunities than most guys ever realize. It's something almost everyone does, especially when they really like someone, without even noticing. Mistake number 3. You're trying to be chosen instead of choosing. There's one mistake that almost every young guy makes at least once. He treats every attractive girl like she's automatically the prize. The moment he sees her, he starts asking himself one question: how do I make her like me? Notice something about that question. It assumes she's already worthy of your attention. Before you've even learned who she is, you don't know how she treats people. You don't know if she's honest. You don't know if she's kind. You don't know if she respects others. You don't know if your values even match. Yet somehow, you've already decided that winning her approval is your mission. That's backwards. Imagine you're applying for a job. The company interviews you, but while they're asking questions, you're also paying attention. How do the employees treat each other? Does the manager seem respectful? Is this actually a place where I'd enjoy working? Because interviews go both ways. You're not just trying to get accepted. You're deciding whether it's worth saying yes if they choose you. Dating should work the same way. Too many guys walk into every interaction believing they're the only one being evaluated. In reality, you should be paying attention too. Does she respect your time? Does she speak kindly about other people? Can she admit when she's wrong? Does she support your goals? Can she communicate without playing games? These questions matter far more than whether she's attractive, because beauty might get your attention, but character determines whether someone deserves a place in your life. One of the biggest signs of low self-respect is believing that anyone attractive automatically deserves your effort. They don't. Attraction might open the door. Character decides whether they should be invited inside. This mindset changes everything. Instead of wondering, how do I stop her from losing interest? You begin asking, Is this actually someone I want to invest my time in? Is an hour you could have spent becoming stronger, healthier, smarter, more disciplined, and more confident? At the end of the day, the girl isn't the prize. Neither are you. The real prize is becoming a man who doesn't need someone else's approval to know his own worth. Because once you reach that point, dating stops feeling like a competition. It starts feeling like two people simply discovering whether they belong in each other's lives. And that's a much healthier place to build any relationship from. If you enjoyed this video and learned something new, subscribe for more videos on confidence, dating, and becoming the kind of man your future self will be proud of. Until next time, keep improving. Not because you're trying to impress someone else, but because you owe that version of yourself the chance to exist. That single question shifts your confidence, because you're no longer chasing validation. You're making decisions. And confident people make decisions. They don't spend their lives begging for them. Now let's be honest, not every girl you like is going to like you back. That's reality. No amount of advice, no perfect text, no secret trick can change another person's feelings. And that's okay. Rejection isn't proof that you're not enough. Sometimes it's simply proof that two people aren't compatible. Think about your favorite meal. Maybe it's pizza, maybe it's sushi, maybe it's something completely different. Does the fact that someone else doesn't enjoy your favorite food make it a bad meal? Of course not. People have different preferences. Dating works the same way. One girl might not feel a connection with you. Another might appreciate everything about you. The goal isn't to become attractive to everyone. That's impossible. The goal is to become the best version of yourself and let compatibility do the rest. So stop measuring your value by someone else's decision. A rejection doesn't define your future. It defines one person's opinion at one moment in time. And those are two very different things. The next time someone doesn't choose you, don't ask, "What's wrong with me?" Ask, "What can I learn from this and how do I keep improving?" Because every hour you spend chasing someone who isn't interested is an hour you could have spent becoming stronger, healthier, smarter, more disciplined, and more confident. At the end of the day, the girl isn't the prize. Neither are you. The real prize is becoming a man who doesn't need someone else's approval to know his own worth. Because once you reach that point, dating stops feeling like a competition. It starts feeling like two people simply discovering whether they belong in each other's lives. And that's a much healthier place to build any relationship from. If you enjoyed this video and learned something new, subscribe for more videos on confidence, dating, and becoming the kind of man your future self will be proud of. Until next time, keep improving. Not because you're trying to impress someone else, but because you owe that version of yourself the chance to exist.